was a lovely morning in the ocean. The water was cool, clear, and blue. Henry the octopus lived in his house under the sea. Henry loved all the plants that grew in his underwater garden.
Good morning, garden. Wonderful day. Oh, yes, you are looking wonderful today.
Henry looked around and saw that some of the plants' leaves had been eaten. Henry knew it could mean only one thing. His friends, Sam the sea snail and his little brother Michael, had been eating some of his plant's leaves. Henry called out.
Are there any sea snails out there in my garden?
There was no reply, and so Henry called out again.
Are there any sea snails out there named Sam and Michael?
The sea snails were trying not to be noticed, but there they were, amongst Henry's garden leaves. They couldn't ignore Henry, and so Sam answered.
Yes, it's us down here in your garden. How'd you know that, Henry?
Well, I saw that some of my leaves were eaten.
Henry was right. The sea snails could not resist a juicy leaf from Henry's garden.
Next time you get hungry, why don't you eat the weeds and long grass over there?
It was then that Henry noticed just how long his weeds and seagrass were in his garden.
Oh, my goodness!
Henry was so shocked to see a part of his garden looking so untidy that he was lost for words. But then he had lots to say.
It's a deep-sea disaster. It's a marine mess. It's a water wipeout. It's a coral catastrophe. It's a...
Just then, Sam interrupted Henry.
What do you mean, Henry?
Oh, it's a bit messy, don't you think?
It was very messy. Henry had an idea.
You are hungry little sea snails, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've thought of a way that will feed you both and keep my garden tidy. You can eat the seagrass as often as you like.
And so they did.
Lovely seagrass, Henry.
And so the sea snails happily ate away at the seagrass.
Henry, this seagrass is very nice, but I don't know if we're able to eat it all.
The sea snails were right.
Yes, I think you need some help.
Henry went over to his octomobile and drove it over to the sea snails.
You all know my famous octomobile, don't you?
Yeah.
Said the sea snails.
Well, if I attach this sea blade at the front, it becomes an octomower.
The little sea snails looked on as Henry started up his octomower. He drove it over the seagrass and, yes, it had cut the grass.
There you go, little sea snails. Next time you want to have a meal, just eat my seagrass. And if it gets too long, I can use my octomower.
Henry was a clever octopus. Sam and Michael would happily eat Henry's seagrass, and Henry would have his garden kept neat. What a clever octopus.